Hey guys, so I picked up one of these spring compressors from Harbor Freight, and all of the valve keepers were stuck, and I had to slightly bend it inwards for it to work for me. So I have been going and lapping my valves. Maybe you can see it. So this cylinder is done. Number 1 and number 2 are done. Nice and shiny. And number 3 and 4 have still yet to be brushed or lapped. But I can definitely tell why I had such low compression. And there isn't even really a sealing surface on number 4 here. Probably because it was the one that was stuck. It's the one with the bent rod is number 4 intake. This one right here. So you can see something's been in there for sure. The exhaust valve seats all look okay. They're just a little carboned up. And then the number 4 intake. Number 4. It looks okay. These are all the original intakes. International USA. The exhaust valves are an Eaton part number. But I was surprised at how big these intake valves are for this thing. I mean, that's a pretty good size. But I have yet to wire brush and clean it. I'm not gonna spit polish it. It's a valve, people. Come on. So here's one that I've wire wheeled and lapped in. So I mean, they clean it nice. Always important to keep all your things situated here. So number 1 and 2 are done. Working on 3 and 4. It definitely needs new valve seals. All of these seals are they're old and need to be replaced. And we're trying to give this thing a lot of love. So I am happy with that I don't have to take this thing into a machine shop and have a valve job done on it. But I'm sure next time it comes apart, it's going to need one. And by that time, the block will have to get sent in. So I might as well do the head too. But overall, it's cleaning up really nice. I don't know if I would recommend the Harbor Freight remover tool. I mean, it did work. I'll give it that. It worked. But I should have probably had one of those larger, like C-clamp style ones. Because I ended up having to put a socket, like a 3/4 inch socket underneath the head, crank up on the spring, and then lightly tap this with a hammer for the valve keeper to get undone. So it's not necessarily this thing's fault. I did put it through its paces and it still works. So hopefully it can last long enough for me to put everything back together again. But in the meantime, I'm just going to keep working on lapping 3 and 4, and then we're going to give this thing a really good degreasing and cleaning. And then once I find enough funds to buy the engine overhaul kit, it's about $150 for all the seals and everything I need, including valve stem gaskets or seals. We will be able to put this head back together again and get it all painted up and looking pretty again. But in the meantime, the condition of it is good. So I'm going to keep working, and I guess you guys will keep on watching. So in the next video, I'll see you guys then. Hey guys, and welcome back. So today I have been pressure washing all the major engine components, and I just got done pressure washing and drying off this intake manifold. and I addressed the gasket seal here on the thermostat housing, but I noticed when I was wire wheeling the bolts for this one is an international bolt, and this one is your run-of-the-mill 3/8. So that had me wonder if somebody broke one of these or the threads were screwed up in one of these holes. So sure enough, let me take you in here. Field trip time. Well, maybe you can't. Oh, stop that, come on. There you go. So that one, you can't really see threads and it's pretty dirty. And this one, you can see the threads a bit better. There you go. That's what we want. And that one's not so much. So, in order to relieve this situation, gets back in the frame. Side note, if you're ever in Harbor Freight and these are free, just get one. They're frickin' handy. They're handy and you never really pay for them. So anyway, back to what we're doing. So I want to chase these two holes with a tap. And if you don't know what tap size, you have your bolt. And you get a thread gauge, thread gauge here. And this is a 3/8/16 bolt because the number 16 fits in there nicely. Another way is get a caliper here, and it's a 375. This one's 370, but that's a 3/8/16 bolt. I just happen to have these because I'm a machinist. That's my job. So if you're ever into these, grab a pair of calipers. They don't have to be a nice brown and sharp, although I would highly recommend it. And you don't need to have a, Starrett 91C tap handle, but it's nice to have. You can use a, open-end wrench or crescent wrench, or but I like to use the Starrett handles because they really give you you sense what's really going on when you're tapping. And this is a bottoming tap. And you want to always use some kind of lube, although this is aluminum, so it's usually good to have some, but I use Rapid Tap because I have it. At work, they use this really weird, it has like a consistency of honey. It's really sticky, and I kind of like that. So what I'm going to do is put a little bit on my tap here. And you always want to start these by hand, like so. And get my big old tap handle on here. And you just slowly go down. And we're just cleaning those threads up, so our bolt has a nice way to seat. Yeah, this feels good. Oh. Hitting our stud there. So right there, I'm at the bottom. You also want to be careful taking them out too, because they can get gumped up. Not forest gunk. There we go. So you get some junk down in the bottom like that. You don't really want that. So I get that off. Alright, so this next hole looks like a good majority of the threads just aren't there. So I'm going to do my best to thread this here. Another you could use a starting tap. This is the only tap I have for a 3/8/16, I believe. So I'm kind of stuck trying to get this to seat properly. But a starting tap has more of a taper at the bottom, and it lets you center in the hole easier, whereas this one, so you see this tap has a taper at the bottom, and it gradually gets into the threads, whereas this one, it has a very small taper, so this is a bottoming tap. It also looks like somebody might have drilled this one out. Oh, it's stuck there. Take a bolt, see where it goes. Yeah, pretty cruddy down there. I might have rolled a burr into it too, because there was a burr that rolled up on either side of these. So I took my file and slowly filed down that burr. It sticks on me right there. You really don't want to cross thread it either. Come on, don't be like that. Man, that's pretty bad in there. Let's see. Oh, look at that. Sweet. It's amazing what you find laying around. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, that's what we want. A little love on there. There we go. That did the trick. It's amazing when you have the right tools for the job. Yeah, it feels pretty gummy in there. You also want to be careful with aluminum, because you could easily strip out your threads. Just add a little. Take that out of there. And it was definitely cutting. Well, that's pretty gummed up. Yeah, it's pretty gooey in there. Man, I don't know what was down in there. Had just some carb clean. You can use compressed air, but this is a good way to get tinnitus, using compressed air. Pretty grimy in there. So now if we take our bottoming tap, this will let us get all the way to the bottom. Maybe. He just doesn't like those top couple threads. There it goes. You're just hitting on the stud over here. All right. So there's 2 holes chased. Yeah, a little bit on that one. Oh, don't get carb clean on these, because then they just melt. I know from experience. So let's get you guys back in here. So nice clean threads. And I mean, cleaner threads. They're definitely there this time. I'll just have to be careful when I tighten the water or the coolant manifold on there. This big guy gets put on there, I believe, like, oh geez, carburetor, like that? No, that's not right. Wait a minute. No, that's the right way. Well, it goes on there. That's the main purpose. Anyway, got it pretty cleaned out. This didn't have a overheating problem, so I'm not too concerned about that. It does have these little grills down in the intake there. Probably has to do something with your air-fuel mixture, or makes you burn a little cleaner. I'm sure somebody watching this knows what they are. But I still have to address this mating surface here. It does have a PCV, or a oil, well, not oil burner, but you know, combustion gases can come up and get burned off again. But anyway, this main week I have been working on the head. So let me get you guys organized here, and then we'll bring you back. All right, so as you saw in the previous, or not the previous, but 2 previouss ago, I pulled out all the valves and I lapped them. This is the valve cover. I just scrubbed her out with some Simple Green, and I put a nice coat of WD-40 in it. So that's ready for prep and paint. And so here's our head. So super clean. It's also got a nice coating of WD on it right now because it was starting to get a little bit of flash rust on it. So all of our valves and here's our intake, nice and clean. I just came by with a nylon brush, and then I came in with a wire brush on my drill, and then made sure she was all scrubbed clean. But here is our head. Everything's nice and shiny and clean. So the intake here, I'm sure I said it in the last part, it's probably really close to needing to be remachined, but I just don't have the funds at the moment. But it'll be just fine. It's lapped in. That's the worst out of all of them. There's a little bit of pitting around the water jackets here, but nothing to worry about. So overall, I'm pretty happy with how the head turned out after getting all washed here. Just have that protect it from certain things. So that in itself was a pretty big job. And then here's all the valves, all shiny and ready to go. I just need to get a new valve seals. So once I buy that gasket kit, be able to put the head back together again. Then I'll probably work on everything else. Main focus is probably going to be the oil pump and then the oil filter reservoir. Really, engine wise, hasn't really changed much. I did clean the lifter cover here, so that's scrubbed clean, but nothing has really changed under the hood since the last video. Still need a ridge ream, need to hone the cylinders, still need to buy an impact for that lower pulley right there. Still $100 at Harbor Freight. So for me to get to the cam, it'll cost me $100. But in the meantime, just doing a lot of cleaning, guys. So thanks for watching and subscribing, and thank you new subscribers, and thank you old subscribers. But I'll keep you guys updated as I go along. So thanks for watching, guys.